Today we're going to be talking about Princess Daisy of the Mario canon. And as far as I'm concerned, she's the best girl in the Mario series. Better than Rosalina, definitely better than Toadette, and even better than Princess Peach. But you know what, while working on another Mario video I have planned for this channel, I happened to recall that Daisy used to have darker skin. So this video is about the fact that I believe that Daisy should have darker skin. So for this video I constructed a new design for Princess Daisy that not only has darker skin, but also has a new crown and a slightly new dress. Now before I go into what world cultures inspired this new design, let me first properly introduce Princess Daisy and her kingdom of Sarasaland. So for those of you who don't know, Princess Daisy first appeared in 1989 in Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. She is the energetic, tomboyish princess who rules in the kingdom of Sarasaland, which of course gets its name from the Sahara Desert. Unlike the Mushroom Kingdom, which Princess Peach presides over, Sarasaland is divided into 4 regions which are based on real-life locations in our world. Well, there's sort of a half exception for one of them. You'll see what I mean when we get to it. But I want to talk about them in order. The first world is Birabuto, and it is themed after Egypt. So, right off the bat, we have a place where you would expect to see dark-skinned people. And yeah, it's got pyramids, it's got a sphinx for a boss, all that. It's very much an Egyptian themed level. And since the entire kingdom is named Sarasaland after the Sahara Desert, perhaps the kingdom itself originated within this world in particular and then expanded outward from here. I don't know, that's just a theory, just saying. It's possible. Anyway, moving on. The second world is where things get kinda weird, because it's the ocean world of Muda. And so, yeah, this is the one I said was kind of an exception. So, for a long time, I've always assumed that this one was based on Mu, and I did a little bit more digging just to see. And yeah, so some sources do say that it is based on Mu, and then apparently some people say it was also based on Bermuda. So, Bermuda, obviously a real place, so that one's an easy one. So Bermuda, again, there's dark-skinned people there. Dark-skinned people living there in the Atlantic Ocean. Mu's a weird one. Okay, so a lot of you probably never even heard of Mu. Mu is bullshit. It's like Atlantis, so bullshit. Atlantis is, you know, the fictional lost continent that's supposed to be somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. Mu, I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of research into Mu, but basically Mu is like a lost continent in the Pacific Ocean. Some kind of bullshit like that. I don't like digging into like crap like that. I care about real history and real culture, so I don't really dig that far into Mu. But it's some nonsense like that. But what I will say is if it was based on Mu, and Mu's supposed to be in the Pacific Ocean, guess what? The real people who live, the real natives that live in the Pacific Ocean, are brown people, okay? They are very dark-skinned people. So again, that just works in favor of my argument now, doesn't it? But luckily Easton, which is our next world, is much easier to pinpoint because it's covered in moai. There are moai everywhere. And moai, of course, come from Rapa Nui, which is an island which you probably better know as Easter Island. And besides some really kick-ass artwork, what do the native peoples of Easter Island have? Say it with me now. Dark skin. Now, finally, we come to our final world, the fourth world, the Chai Kingdom. So, what part of the world is this one based on? This one is actually based on China, and the Chinese are predominantly lighter in skin tone. But, look at these 4 worlds. Only one of them has lighter skinned people predominantly. whereas the other 3 are nations that have native populations of dark-skinned people. Now apparently some people claim that Daisy rules from the Chai Kingdom, and that's why she would have lighter skin. But that's not necessarily true, because, as far as I'm aware, it was never officially stated that she rules from the Chai Kingdom. And if you look at the end of the game, what happens? When Mario saves Princess Daisy, they get into a helicopter and fly away from the Chai Kingdom. If she rules from the Chai Kingdom, why would they fly away from the kingdom? Like, wouldn't they just do the same thing that happens when Mario saves Princess Peach, where Princess Peach, like, just kisses Mario or bakes him a cake and they just stay in the damn kingdom? No! Daisy says, "Mario, get me the fuck out of here, let's fly away." That is a totally accurate quote from the original Game Boy game, I have to know. So let's tackle another counter-argument. At the very beginning of this video, I mentioned that Daisy used to have dark skin, which is true. What is also true is that her very first drawings of her, when she first appeared on the scene in 1989, was that of a light-skinned girl. I don't deny this. But when she reappeared again on the scene, in the video game scene, she had dark skin. And this iteration, I feel, was her best iteration, but then she eventually reverted back to this the light-skinned version. Now, some of you may think, well then, that's good, they went back to the classic design. But I don't think that is a good thing, personally. Would all of you prefer that Mario go back to his classic design? Have you seen Mario's classic design? I don't think you've actually seen Jumpman. Would all of you like to go back to Bowser's design? Bowser's classic design? Have you actually seen Bowser's classic design? I'll show you Bowser's classic design. You want that? No, you don't want Bowser's classic design to be brought back. Nor do you want Peach's classic design to be brought back. Those old classic designs can be seen as stepping stones to better, more well-constructed, more well-thought-out designs. My point is, when they reintroduced Daisy to the world on the N64 and Gamecube, they showed her as a dark-skinned woman, and that design made perfect sense for all the reasons that I listed. But for whatever reason, after some years, they just decided, no, let's just make her light-skinned, like Peach, and that's just silly. Daisy's been under Princess Peach's shadow for far too long, and us Daisy fans know that Daisy is more than just an echo of Princess Peach. So with all that said, let us now look at my new design for Princess Daisy, which not only darkens her skin again, but also incorporates cultural imagery into her design. The most significant change to her costume, of course, would be her crown. The crown that she normally wears in the Mario games is very similar to what Peach and Rosalina wears. But for Daisy, she needs to wear something different. Why? Because what Peach and Rosalina have on is a very generic kind of crown. And why do we think of that kind of crown when we think generic crown? Well, that generic crown is based on European crowns, and European crowns have become the generic image for royalty and crowns in pop culture. Now, as you'll recall, none of the cultures that we discussed today are European, so why on earth would Daisy have a European crown? So let's get rid of that old thing and give her a new crown. In ancient times, when Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt were unified, the crowns of both Egypts were also combined into one. With that logic in mind, that is what I used in order to create this new crown for Daisy. The base of the crown comes from Egyptian Queen Nefertiti. The golden bird crest comes from the Chinese Empress Yao Jian. Atop this crown is the upper portion of a Bermuda Gombe mask, and flaring out from the sides of it is a Rapa Nui headdress. Finally, the flower that is on the crown is purple as opposed to the other flowers that are usually blue in Daisy's outfit, because an African daisy is actually purple. And not only is Egypt in Africa, but many Bermudans can trace their ancestry to Africa. So I figured this purple African daisy would be a good addition to the overall composition. Moving on to the rest of her dress, you'll notice that I have equipped Daisy with an Egyptian crook. This is a farming implement that many royal Egyptians would hold in their sarcophagus image, which would also be accompanied with a flail. I've only used the crook in this image because the crook is shaped like a question mark, similar to the question marks that you see on the question blocks in Mario games. So I thought that was kind of a fun little Easter egg thing, and of course I'm sure I've noticed there is in fact a question mark block at the very end of this Egyptian crook. If you're wondering, the point of the crook in Egyptian culture is to symbolize the pharaoh as the shepherd and caretaker of the people. Next up, in the back of her dress, you'll notice that she has a lovely Chinese fan, and attached to the belt of the dress you'll notice a whole bunch of colorful tassels that comes from the Bermuda Gameboy. And lastly, you'll notice that there are a whole bunch of symbols decorating the dress. That is known as Rongo Rongo. It comes from Rapa Nui. These symbols have never been translated. So what do these mean? Only Daisy knows. Now for those of you who are thinking, well Justin, I prefer Daisy to have light skin, my response is, that's okay. I understand, because for many years, Daisy has had light skin. We've grown accustomed to that. So it's understandable. But I'm just saying that Nintendo missed out on a great opportunity to diversify the Mario cast. And I believe, for the reasons that I talked about today, that Daisy should have dark skin. That's my opinion. I hope you respect my opinion, and I'll respect your opinion. No matter how they continue to update and change Daisy's design in the future, I'm sure I'm going to continue to be a fan of hers. But yes, I didn't know where else to mention this, so I'll mention it now. If they ever remake Mario Land, or revisit Sarasaland in another Mario game, they need to up the cultural representation of Bermuda and the land of Muda, because all the other lands, I think, as far as the Game Boy graphics can, represented Egypt, Rapa Nui, and China fairly well. Again, as far as Game Boy graphics are concerned. But Muda was certainly lacking. So, if they ever show Sarasaland again, that's something they need to work on. And one such way they can culturally enrich Muda is by drawing from the Gameboy masquerade I mentioned earlier. Imagine this, Shy Guys that are Gameboy masqueraders. They can be equipped with axes, bow and arrows, and whips, just like the real masqueraders. By the way, I might wind up doing another video in the future about the Gameboy masquerade because I do find it quite fascinating. This video is probably already long enough, so maybe look forward to that in the future. Alrighty, time to wrap my speech up. At the start of this video, you heard me say that I believe Daisy should have dark skin, but in reality, it's not just me. In fact, many Mario fans believe that Daisy should have dark skin, and that's in fact the reason why I invited a guest artist to show his Daisy artwork. The artwork that you saw at the very start of this video and the artwork that you are seeing right at this moment was created by a fan. And this fan artist goes by the name of Prince Cheap. I will have a link to his DeviantArt account in the description. So I want to thank the artist Prince Cheap for allowing me to show his artwork on this video. That was awesome of him. Please remember to check out his website And remember to also subscribe to Red Spirit Mask for more videos, both about video games and about culture as well.